We're back to have a discussion about home defense and self-defense again, which is right now arguably the hottest topic in Canadian culture, being that you click on the news and it seems like it's like daily, weekly, and you're hearing about these home defense scenarios or home intrusion scenarios where people are just breaking into houses and homeowners are either killed or killed in the drawn out legal process after having to defend themselves against an intruder, an armed intruder. Which is insane to me. And like a week or two ago, there was this case in Lindsay that's already sparked like a pretty big controversy and a lot of discussion around this crackhead breaks into this guy's house with a freaking crossbow, dude. Like, could you imagine a crackhead in your house at 3 a.m. With a crossbow? Anyways, the homeowner beat the brakes off this guy, where the intruder had to be airlifted to a hospital, and now the homeowner is facing charges for like excessive or aggravated assault. It's like, dude, give me a break, man. Like, and this isn't about like political views, or I don't care what political party you like or you voted for. It doesn't matter, man. This is like a basic human right thing, in my opinion, and it really touches a nerve for me. Um, and that's why we're hearing more and more again in recent months about the topic of castle doctrines here in this country, which I 100% support. I feel that if you break into somebody's home in the middle of the night, you have no good intention. And I think the moment you intrude on somebody's house, you throw your basic human rights to the wind. Like, that homeowner should be able to eat you if he so chooses. Not that that would probably taste very good, but in any event, the point I'm trying to make is if you break into somebody's home, I don't think you should have a leg to stand on. The law should always favor the homeowners, which they say that it does in ways, but sure, but not before you're again drugged through the mud legally during our in our court systems, man. Like, I'm so flustered talking about this because it really does strike a nerve with me. I put myself in the position of some of these people, and it's horrific. More scary than the actual intruder themselves is what happens next. What if you do defend yourself in your home? You shoot a guy with a legally stored firearm, and it's like, fuck, now what? Now I got to go through this, the stress, put my family through, the aftermath, the legal battle of it all, just to, yeah, sure, you have probably a pretty good chance of getting acquitted if you act accordingly, to your best ability in that scenario. But again, like, you have to prove yourself innocent, which I hate that. It should be like innocent until proven guilty, which is allegedly the leg Canadians have always stood on, but is clearly not the case. When you think about, again, that homeowner in Lindsay, absolutely insane that this guy's charged. I don't care how badly he beat that guy. Like, nobody else was in that freaking house but him and that crackhead. So he may have had to do what he deemed necessary. And even if not, man, like, you're reacting out of like fear and anger. Somebody's in your home. Like, cool, man. I support that guy 100%. I don't care if somebody calls it excessive or not. Like, again, if you break into my home, I don't think you have any, I'm not even going to look at you like you're a human being, because a true human being would never do something like that. So I'm looking at you like a predator, an aggressive predator that means me and my family harm. And I'm going to act immediately or react immediately. Exactly that, in that exact way. And that's how I'm going to deal with you. And then I think about what just happened. I think it was in Vaughan, where like this freaking dad was shot and killed in front of like his toddler, and I think like three kids. But in any event, the alleged story is that armed people broke into this guy's house. Allegedly, one of the intruders put a gun to this guy's kid's head, like a 4-year-old daughter, and like natural instinct, the father went to go obviously defend his daughter and was shot and killed right in front of these people. And it's like an outrage to me, because it's like, on one hand, if you defend yourself, you could be facing you will for sure be facing a drawn out legal process after the fact. And if you don't, you can end up killed, which I'm sure, there's a certain divide of the country that feels like probably angry that they're not able to charge the homeowner that was killed. Like, that seems to be the agenda here, man. Charge the homeowner. And I feel like these police, it's shameful to me. Like, because again, our law is so discretionary and they do it on purpose, and it's frustrating. Like, why don't you give people clear and concise laws? And I know Pierre Poilievre is pushing the initiative to flip this bill where it like rewords some of the things that pertain to like home defense and so forth. And one of the words I still don't like, but it's a step in the right direction is like, if somebody breaks into your house, they're presumed to be a threat. You like, it's presumed to be a threat, but it's like, why wouldn't you just say are a threat? Because that's what it is. If you break into my house, am I presuming that you're a threat? Like, no, you are 100% without a doubt a threat. And that bothers me. But again, at least we're seeing like somewhat of a step in the right direction when it comes to home, defense and stuff like that. But I just want to see like the black and white laws. Just like if somebody breaks into your home, you have a Castle Doctrine, do whatever the heck you need to do to defend yourself, your family, and your property. And I think that is just like, to me, a basic human right. And I hate that there's a government with such involvement, like too much government involvement here with us, us Canadians, man. It's just too much. Like, and it's evidently everybody agrees. So I don't understand how we have like elected officials, but then yet the whole population or the vast majority of people are like, yeah, this makes sense. If somebody breaks into my home, I should be able to do whatever the heck I have to do and not face any legal recourse after. Like, again, innocent until proven guilty. The fact that these homeowners are even charged blows my freaking mind. And it's really, really upsetting to me. And I hate talking about it, but man, it needs to be discussed more and more again. So I'm glad it is being discussed. Guys like myself and people on the news and, like Rebel News and so forth. Not that I'm a big advocate for them, but I do appreciate the fact that they are at least touching on these subjects and, gaining some traction there where people are starting to shake their heads going like, man, this is just not right. Like if you break into my home in the middle of the night, like, whatever, like it's your own problem how you get handled. And if you have to be airlifted to a hospital, like fucking right, as you should be. And you're lucky to be alive, in my opinion, because I know I'd be terrified, like I said, because I'm not going to look at you like a human. If you're in my home at 3 a.m., you are a freaking predator and you're a threat immediately. And I'm not risking my life, my wife's life, or anybody's life to try to figure it out, while you're under immense pressure. Are you a threat? Of course you're a threat. They're in your freaking home, man. Like, you're going to wait like this poor father did. Now imagine this father had like, he was a legal firearm owner and he was in a position where he was able to act quickly and get to his firearm. You already know how that would have ended. He would have ended up in court being charged for Lord knows what, aggravated assault, murder, you name it. And then, so it's like it feels like you can't win. Like, anyway, I hate talking about it. So thankfully that Pierre Poilievre is at least trying to push an initiative and a bill to like kind of restructure the way we word things in our legislation, because it's not okay. As a Canadian, I don't like it. It's not right. And I know many of you at home feel the same way, which is going to bring me to my final thought and my final question, because I want to know, black and white, as our laws should be, yes or no, if somebody breaks into your home, are they immediately a threat? Not presumed, not assumed. They are a threat. And do you have the right, or should you have the right immediately to do whatever you need to do to protect your family without having to face legal recourse? Innocent until proven guilty. You are a victim. You are a homeowner. Yes or no? I want to know what you think. And let me know in the comments, man. If somebody breaks into your home, yes or no, you have the right to do whatever the hell you need to do and not face legal prosecution. I need to know from you guys because it's really bothering me. It's a sensitive topic for me. And again, I like to kind of preface this as well. Like, human life is, of course, extremely valuable, the most valuable. And I don't think that like property should ever trump human life. So I guess my point to that is if somebody's breaking into your shed, I don't think you have the right to go out there and shoot them. I don't. In fact, I don't even think it's a great idea to like necessarily approach them. I don't think it's even worth it to put yourself in that position over what, a lawnmower, a bike, like, whatever. Call the cops, hold down your house. If they come to your freaking back door, whatever, man, you're there and you're prepared. But I guess my point is I don't believe stuff like that to be, I don't think that's just. I don't think you should be able to kind of act the same way if somebody's in your freaking home. So I'd like to just kind of point that out, that I'm not like a psychopath. I don't have this like American mentality. And not this is wrong. I'm not faulting Americans for feeling this way. Just I don't believe personally that like property, should trump human life. So I know I wouldn't act that way. But if you're in my freaking house, man, and I'm scared and you're an immediate predator and a threat to me, like, again, I'm more scared of what happens after the fact, and it brings up a lot of conversation that we can't even have right now in a public discourse like YouTube, because, God forbid something like that happened. When I'm in court defending myself already have defended myself against an intruder, they would look at all this stuff like to use against you, which is freaking insane. Like I used to have these signs on my old set, and they were just like signs from freaking Instagram. It would be like, shoot first, ask questions later, that sort of thing. And again, have no premise to how I truly believe and live my life. They're just literally artwork for behind me when I'm making videos. But in any event, somebody pointed out like that can be used against you in the court of law. God forbid something happens, and that made me feel uncomfortable days later, and I took them down. So that whole mentality of like they're going to use things against legal law-abiding citizens, man, in the event of something like that is absolutely absurd, and it really touches a nerve with me. And I'm sorry for rambling on. It's just how I feel. I'm all hopped up on coffee here. But in any event, yes or no, if somebody breaks into your house, should you be able to beat the brakes off them, eat them, shoot them, whatever the heck you deem necessary to protect yourself as they are in your home, your peace, your place of peace, and should be the safest place on the planet, in my opinion. I appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think. We'll chat with you again soon.